people feel there seems to be a sense that there's not enough. There is a fear that if you're doing well and you're not up underneath me, I can't support you.
Right.
There's that ugliness that happens when we come together, especially with us as Black women. Like, I got to call it the way I see it, especially with us with Black women.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the agents that are, that envy, that can't love on their sisters?
Yeah.
It's
scary. I feel like it's so much deeper than just real estate when it comes to that. And I think we just have to remind ourselves that what's for me is always going to be for me.
Hey there, this is Theresa Barron. Listen, I am welcoming you to the 3rd season of the Real Tea Talk podcast. That's the Real TEA Talk podcast. I am your host, and I am here today with a wonderful guest. I cannot wait to introduce you to her. But before I do that, let me at least give you my credentials. So I am the broker of Take a Look Real Estate Brokers, and I'm not here to really talk about Take a Look, but what I will do is give you my broker number in case you ever want to verify my credentials. It's 2010002720. That's licensed in the state of Ohio, and in Florida, it's 658-005-849. Now, I want to get to my guest today. Listen, this young lady, she has taken us by storm in terms of getting into the real estate business. And she is not playing, honey. I'm telling you, I've been watching her for about 1.5 years, and I come to find out that she's actually a friend of my daughter. So we're connected in more than one way. And it's really important for me as somebody who's been in the business for the last 30 years to really highlight and really encourage and just really, give a platform to young, upcoming, the rising stars in the real estate industry, especially African-American real estate stars in the real estate industry. So today I want you to meet Miss Nakita Wilson. Welcome, Nakita.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm an honored guest, and I'm excited to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, she spilled. That's the operative word, spilling the tea. Now we're changing. Nakita, you the first one. We're going to be changing the format. And the format beforehand was all about, wealth, finances, teaching people things that they really needed to know. But what we see right now is there's a lot going on in the real estate industry, just a tremendous amount. And what I wanted to do was to highlight success stories and really bring you on so that you can share a wealth of knowledge, because there's a lot of people that really could use some coaching. Yes, so tell us your story.
Well, what really got me into the real estate business was just purchasing my own home in that journey. I'm a single mom. I take care of my mother. At that time, I was working for the state, maybe making $18 an hour. Didn't have a 750 credit score, didn't have a bunch of money in the bank. But I knew that being a homeowner was something that I wanted to achieve. So I got my resources together. I was able to take home buyer workshops, get grants, and I was able to achieve that goal. So just going through that process and knowing where I came from, I wanted people to be able to see that it's possible. Yeah. Anything that you want, if you're willing to work for it, you can have it. I worked 2 jobs, one at which I'm still at the YWCA family shelter. I Ubered, DoorDashed, did whatever I needed to do.
You did what you had to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how long have you been a homeowner?
I purchased in 2019, which was a good time to get in, and I'm so glad that I did.
And so how was the process? How were you treated? How did you get what you thought you should have received? Is this the way you take care of your clients?
Oh, that's a good question. I started with one agent and then ended up closing the transaction and the purchase of my home with a different agent. It was an interesting experience working with the first agent and then also a different experience working with the second. The second agent that I ended up working with, she was a little more seasoned, a little more, I don't know, laid back, chill. And she was able, literally the first home we put an offer in,
she got it together for you.
We got it done.
She got it together. So that's awesome. So tell us, how are you operating today differently than, your experience? Because I know it gave you an opportunity to kind of, feel it out and figure it out. And then even before you tell me that, tell me what made you actually get into the real estate industry altogether.
So I guess just going through that process and wanting to show people there's ways to get what you want. So whether we have to do grants, workshops, whatever we need to do, there's a way to get there as long as you're willing to make the necessary sacrifices and do what you have to do to get there. So that kind of inspired me. When I was working for the state, I was a part of a union, and the union actually paid for my real estate license.
So people, she's dropping some tea right now. She's telling you, you may not have to pay. There are ways to get your real estate courses paid for. So if someone is just getting started, that's an important position to know, is that those classes can be sponsored and paid for by, maybe the organization you're working for right now. Maybe the board, the Columbus board. I'm on the scholarship committee, and I know that they do definitely sponsor some, people who show an interest in getting into the industry.
Yes. And there were no strings attached. So the previous job that I held didn't have anything to do with real estate. I made sure, hey, if I get this real estate license through you, do I owe you anything? Do I have to stay here for a certain amount of time? And it wasn't anything like that. So as soon as I got my real estate license, I closed on my house, got my real estate license.
Wow.
And then I left.
That's like boom, boom.
Yeah.
Those are two major experiences, and you jumped right in.
I did. And now I don't advise people to do that, but I know that I'm the kind of person, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make ends meet. I got this house. I did all this work.
You ain't about to lose it.
Listen, I will do whatever I have to do. So that also helped too, just knowing my drive and my passion. Everybody doesn't have that necessarily, that entrepreneurial spirit or motivation, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But, especially with the market now, if you have to hold a job and do real estate, do what you got to do. Right. And there's no shame.
Right. So what did you have coaching? Did you have a plan? Or did you just jump right in and say, I'm going to make this thing happen?
I did have a plan. I made sure that I saved up months of, mortgage payments or utilities, paid for what I could. But I didn't really know what the market was going to look like. With me being licensed in 2019, obviously none of us had any clue that the pandemic was going to
take place.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
But that in itself was also a whirlwind. But again, I think just being able to pivot.
Right.
That's one thing that being pivotable.
You gotta pivot.
And then to answer your second question, how did the experience of working with my realtor, how did that shape the experience that I want to have with my clients? And I always tell my clients, this is your show.
Right.
You are the talk show host. I'm the producer. I'm the person that's behind the scenes to make sure everything goes smoothly. It's my job to present you with the data and the facts and allow you to make a sound decision. But this is all you,
Yeah, give them their options.
Yes.
Because if you don't give them their options, you're like making decisions for them.
And that can come back.
And bite you on the butt real good.
Yeah.
Because as we are seeing right now, a lot of the turbulence going on in the real estate market, and what's happening with NAR and the lawsuits and all of that.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that? I mean, it's coming back, and people have agreed to pay our fees, but it's still coming back. So how are you thinking that this is going to kind of pan out?
I think for me, going back to being pivotable, like I'm ready, whatever I have to do, I'm always willing to go the extra mile. So I think a lot of times what we might have to start doing is showing our worth to our buyers. If we're going to have to eventually get the difference in commission from our buyers that the sellers aren't willing to cover, what value am I bringing to my buyer to support them paying this X% or X dollar amount.
Right.
And I feel confident as far as what I'm able to bring to the table, and also just having that relationship and that rapport with your client to have real transparent conversations, you know, and not being overly intimidated or pressured, like, well, I really need, you know, this closing, so maybe I can kind of skim over that. I think that some of that was the issue too, but just being able to be comfortable with your client and saying, hey, if this happens, then we might have to pivot in this direction, and this is what it's going to look like. So I think just disclosing, prepping them, so then they're not being caught blind and off guard, and they can be ready for it.
Right. So one of the things I'm always coaching and training on is to demonstrate your value. You got to serve first.
Yes.
You got to serve at the highest level. Don't worry about the money, where it's coming from, because the money is coming. Anytime you're selling a big ticket item, 200, 300, 400,000, 500,000, then we're talking about the value that you bring to the table. It's got to be commensurate with the services and so forth that you're charging for.
Yes.
So what would you say a new agent needs to do? Because this is, you know, our whole entire podcast is going to be dedicated to making sure that agents get that knowledge, get that base, so that if they don't have the money to hire a coach, or they don't have the team to lead them, you know, that they have some resources, and there's a lot out there, but a lot of times, you still can't get it done.
Yeah.
So tell me what you would tell them.
I would say definitely put yourself out there. A lot of times people try to wait until things are perfect and until you have it right. But if you just start putting yourself out there, people don't know what they don't know. I can't buy a house from you if I don't know that you're an agent, if you're too afraid or too fearful to do it. That's really the best way to learn, is through the process. Have your tools, your resources, like you said. I mean, now the internet is just a well of knowledge.
Yeah.
Just doing your research and I guess putting yourself out there. Just do it. You know, you might fall, you might stumble, you might lose a client. Things may not work out well, but just be persistent and just stay.
Stay.
I like that's the biggest thing. Just stay.
I like that word, stay. She's saying, you know, what she's saying is profound, because a lot of times people want to quit. They just want to quit
when it doesn't go.
Girl, and I know that, here's what I know for sure. I know that as those fees come out, there's going to, you know, we got dues coming. Everybody got dues coming due. Y'all know y'all got dues coming due. This is why, wait a minute. This is why, you know, I'm out there. I was live the last couple of days pushing you to come to a masterclass training that is not take a look centric. It is agent centric. I am not recruiting. I am not recruiting. You want to come on, but I am not recruiting. You know, the point is that people feel there seems to be a sense that there's not enough. There is a fear that if you're doing well and you're not up underneath me, I can't support you.
Right.
There's that ugliness that happens when we come together, especially with us as Black women. Like, I got to call it the way I see it, especially with us with Black women.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the agents that are, you know, that just that envy, that they can't love on their sisters?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it's scary. I feel like it's so much deeper than just real estate when it comes to that. You know, and I think we just have to remind ourselves that what's for me is always going to be for me.
Right.
You can't have what God gave me.
Yeah. Not your breath, not your eyes, not your fingerprints.
No,
not
the
your
blessings,
purpose.
not the closings, not the clients, not any of that. And I think if we just really focus on ourselves and do the inner work and figure out, where is this coming from? Like, I'm getting this feedback that I'm not being supportive, or I'm not being kind, or there's a lot of feedback. Where is this coming from? I think it's just really figuring out the underlying issue. What can I do? Why am I not happy for this person? Why?
Yeah, I feel like as particularly Black women, I feel like we need to do that. We used to do something called Her Story. And it was an active coming together, and the leader of her story, in my version, the leader of her story, well, we named it her story, but the leader would buy breakfast for, a group of women, and it was 100% Black women.
Yeah.
And what we would do is we would go around the table with sharing some information that you might not know about the person. Matter of fact, you might not even know the person.
Yeah.
Because we were inviting women that we did not know, in particular, and then bringing one or two that maybe we did know. Yeah. But it was such a powerful experience because we gained appreciation. We took away our fear. Like this person became human, not just a person on a screen. Yeah. And then we were able to create and develop relationships for me that have lasted as long as, I have people that I still talk to today. And I know that if I call them and I'm, upset, or I'm not, I'm somebody's, I know that they're going to hear me. I know they're going to listen to me. I know that they're not going to take my information and just spread it out all around town. Right. So what are you thinking about that?
I agree. Is having those people in your corner, having that sisterhood where people who love and care about you hold you accountable. Yeah. My best friend is going to tell me like, friend, I don't think that's good for you, or I don't like that you're doing that, or I don't see that for you. And it's my job to deal with that. If I know from her it's coming from a place of love, I know she's not coming from an envious place. I know she's not coming from a place just wanting to attack me and tear me down. It's like, okay, there might be some truth to that. So what do I need to sit with and figure out? Just being able to take accountability and working through it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I read and know that one of your ambitions at this point is to also be a broker.
Yes.
Yeah. So I cannot wait to see you in that position. I would love to help you to figure that out.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Because you are going to be, there's a lot to it, right? There's a lot to it.
Yes.
But at the same time, it is such a give. I tell people that as a broker, I make a lot less money because I'm not out here every day, all day long. Still out here in the streets, but I'm not out here like I was, when it was just all about real estate. It's such a give. I get on a call every single morning with my agents that want to get on a call every single morning. And we've been doing that for like 250 days, girl.
You're counting.
Yeah. Because when we get to December, we will have done it for an entire year.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I think that your light shines so bright.
Thank you.
That when people see you, and then when they get an opportunity, they should just stop. There's no fear here. They're getting ready to get the real deal. Like somebody who's going to be real with them, somebody who's going to, and I know the agents. When you begin to help, share with the agents your skills and your talents, I know it's going to be magical.
Yeah,
I know it's going to be magical. I hope I'm at that point, I might be trying to really recruit. I might because we talk about taking this all across the country. Yes. And I love the company that you're with. I love it. She's with EXp right now. And EXp has a phenomenal program. As soon as I got licensed in Florida, then everybody EXp was, and I was like, so anyway, that's another conversation. I have to tell you all about it. But it was very, the company it's been doing some things. Yes. And just coming across the country. So. As an independent Black broker, my goal is to put that also in the community. Yeah. That a similar sort of format in the community. So so it's going to take the yous to help the me's get it done. That's how, because
and I'm up for the task.
We can't do it by ourselves.
No.
So the last thing I wanted to talk about is this thing of doing things by ourselves. What is up with that? I think it takes a community.
Yeah.
And I think in just this city alone, we got 400,000 Black folks. And that's pretty much who I sell to. Yeah. This is people that look like me, my family, my brothers, cousins, uncles, sisters, so forth. Yeah. So I don't understand. So we need to work together. What do you think about that?
I definitely think that goes way back as far as how that even.
That you going back to.
And I know we're not going there.
No, but it's okay though, because that's what the light skin, dark skin, the long hair, short hair, the we think we're. Yeah.
So it goes deep. I think if people want to learn, if people want to be teachable, if people want to collaborate, I think there's a lot more of the majority that wants that than doesn't at this point.
So we calling for y'all.
Yeah.
Come on. We calling for you.
Yeah, because it's here.
Yeah.
You know, if we want to level the playing field, we can.
We can.
There's so many opportunities, so many programs, so many ways.
Yes.
Just get some skin in the game. That's my thing. Like, just try to get some skin in the game.
And not use people. You got to give what you're receiving. It's a reciprocation. So, you can't just take. You got to give. To me, it's if you don't understand that, you might as well go ahead and sit down somewhere, because you're going to quickly get outed and people are going to look at you like sideways, and we ain't going to have nothing to do with you. But if you're willing to give and share your resources, your knowledge, your information, it can be a whole different. We can have a whole different thing. We won't be talking about our neighborhoods looking all. We won't be talking about. We won't be having so many of our sons not living, or on a some sort of trajectory to the prison pipeline. We won't be dealing with that. So real estate is really a really big deal.
Yes.
So
and regardless of your background, you can get into real estate. There's so many different avenues, so many different routes. We need all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. So tell me, lastly, I want you to, we always try to drop a couple of gems and just leave somebody with something that they can take with them. If you were, what would you want to leave as we end this conversation? Because it's been, I know I would love to sit here and talk for another 25, 30 minutes. But I know we got a whole schedule. So, but tell me, what would you want to leave folks with?
Like you kind of said, just give, just do, just serve. When you take yourself out of things, then that opens up a whole nother level of what you're able to receive. Just do, be available. Even when you don't have much, just give what you can. It doesn't have to be monetary. It can be your time. It can be a kind word. It can be a hug. It can be anything. I think the biggest thing that we need in this world is kindness, and just give grace to yourself, to other people. If you know somebody's being ugly towards you, extend that person grace, because only God knows what they're dealing with, what they're going through.
Yeah.
So I hope that's helpful.
That's very helpful. Well, you guys, I know you just got a wealth of information with us coming to you today. And I'm so thankful that we were able to bring this together. My name is Theresa Barron, and this is Nakita Wilson. Yes. She is a rising star in Central Ohio real estate. And I'm just so thankful and excited to be able to share this time with her today. And you can reach out to Nakita if you ever want to get in contact with her. Yes. Please share your information in case anybody wants to get in contact.
Yes, ma'am. On all social media platforms, it's Nakita Wilson, Nakita Wilson. My cell phone number, call me, text me. Cell phone number is 614-373-6610. I'm always ready and willing to assist, whether you're an agent, client. Let me know how I can help.
Hey, y'all. So we will see you on the next one. This is Theresa Barron on the Real Tea Talk. We are here to educate, inspire, and activate. I'll see you on the next one.
Bye.